The story of Nelson Mandela, a life of resilience and freedom. In the rolling hills of Mvizo, a small village in the eastern Cape of South Africa, a boy named Relila Mandela was born on July 18, 1918. His name, which means pulling the branch of a tree in Xhosa, would come to symbolize his role as a revolutionary leader who uprooted the foundations of injustice and oppression. Later in life, his teacher gave him the English name Nelson, a common practice in colonial schools. Little did anyone know, this boy would grow up to change the course of history, becoming one of the most iconic figures in the global struggle for justice and human rights. Early life and influences. Nelson Mandela was born into the Thembu royal family, part of the Xhosa-speaking people. His father, Gadla Henry Mfakeni-Iswa, was a local chief and counselor to the Thembu king. Though not wealthy, Mandela's family instilled in him a sense of pride in his heritage and the importance of leadership and responsibility. When his father passed away in 1927, 9-year-old Mandela was sent to live with Chief John Jintaba Dalinjibo, the acting regent of the Thembu people. This arrangement opened new doors for young Mandela, exposing him to the intricacies of leadership and governance. Mandela attended mission schools where he was introduced to Christian teachings, discipline, and the English language. Later, he enrolled at Fort Hare University, a prestigious institution for Black Africans, where he began to develop a keen interest in politics. However, Mandela's education was cut short when he participated in a student protest and was expelled. Undeterred, he moved to Johannesburg, where his journey as a freedom fighter began. Awakening to activism. In Johannesburg, Mandela worked as a clerk in a law firm and completed his law degree through correspondence courses. During this time, he met individuals who introduced him to the African National Congress, ANC, an organization committed to ending racial segregation and promoting equality in South Africa. In 1944, Mandela co-founded the ANC Youth League, ANCYL, alongside other young leaders such as Walter Sisulu and Oliver Tambo. Their goal was to inject a sense of urgency and radicalism into the ANC's fight against apartheid, the oppressive system of racial segregation institutionalized by the National Party in 1948. Mandela's political ideology was shaped by a blend of African nationalism, socialism, and nonviolent resistance. The influence of figures like Mahatma Gandhi, who had fought against injustice in South Africa decades earlier, was particularly significant. Mandela believed in the power of collective action and the need for unity among South Africa's diverse racial and ethnic groups. The fight against apartheid. The 1950s marked a period of intense activism for Mandela and the ANC. They organized boycotts, strikes, and protests to challenge apartheid laws that stripped Black South Africans of their rights and dignity. One of the most notable campaigns was the Defiance Campaign of 1952, in which Mandela and other activists deliberately broke apartheid laws, such as curfews and segregation rules, to highlight their injustice. Mandela's leadership and charisma earned him widespread recognition, but they also made him a target of the apartheid regime. He was arrested multiple times and faced restrictions on his movements and activities. In 1956, Mandela and 155 other activists were charged with treason in a trial that lasted until 1961. Though they were ultimately acquitted, the trial underscored the apartheid government's determination to crush opposition. As peaceful resistance proved increasingly ineffective in the face of escalating government brutality, Mandela and the ANC leadership concluded that armed struggle was necessary. In 1961, Mandela co-founded Umkhonto we Sizwe, Spear of the Nation, the armed wing of the ANC, which carried out acts of sabotage against government installations. Mandela's decision to embrace armed struggle was not taken lightly. It reflected his belief that all other avenues for change had been exhausted. Imprisonment and sacrifice. In 1962, Mandela was arrested and charged with incitement to strike and leaving the country without a passport. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison. While serving this sentence, the authorities discovered documents linking him to Umkhonto we Sizwe sabotage operations. This led to the infamous Rivonia trial, where Mandela and his co-accused faced charges of sabotage and conspiracy to overthrow the government. During the trial, Mandela delivered a speech from the dock that would become one of the most iconic declarations of his principles. He stated, "I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve, but if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." In 1964, Mandela and his co-defendants were sentenced to life imprisonment. Mandela was sent to Robben Island, a bleak prison off the coast of Cape Town, where he would spend 18 of his 27 years in captivity. Life on Robben Island was harsh. Prisoners endured grueling labor in a limestone quarry, meager rations, and isolation from their families. Yet, Mandela's resolve remained unbroken. He used his time in prison to study, reflect, and mentor younger activists. He also played a crucial role in maintaining the unity and morale of the ANC leadership behind bars. The global movement for Mandela's release. As Mandela languished in prison, the anti-apartheid movement gained momentum both within South Africa and internationally. Protesters, governments, and organizations around the world called for his release and imposed sanctions on the apartheid regime. The slogan "Free Nelson Mandela" became a rallying cry for justice, symbolizing the broader struggle against racial oppression. The apartheid government, facing increasing internal resistance and international isolation, began to reconsider its policies. In the late 1980s, secret negotiations between Mandela and government officials began. Mandela's willingness to engage in dialogue, even with his oppressors, demonstrated his commitment to peaceful resolution and reconciliation. Freedom and leadership. On February 11, 1990, Nelson Mandela walked out of Victor Verster prison, a free man after 27 years of incarceration. His release marked a turning point in South Africa's history. Mandela immediately resumed his leadership role in the ANC and worked tirelessly to negotiate a peaceful transition from apartheid to democracy. In 1993, Mandela and then President F.W. de Klerk were jointly awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for their efforts to end apartheid. The following year, South Africa held its first multiracial elections, and on May 10, 1994, Nelson Mandela was inaugurated as the country's first black president. His election symbolized the triumph of hope over hatred, and his presidency was defined by his commitment to reconciliation, nation-building, and social justice. Mandela established the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, TRC, chaired by Archbishop Desmond Tutu, to address the atrocities committed during apartheid. The TRC provided a platform for victims and perpetrators to share their stories, fostering healing and forgiveness, legacy and global impact. After serving a single term as president, Mandela stepped down in 1999, setting a powerful example of democratic leadership. He continued to work as a global statesman, advocating for peace, education, and the fight against HIV/AIDS. His foundation, the Nelson Mandela Foundation, carries forward his legacy by promoting social justice and dialogue. Mandela's impact extended far beyond South Africa. He became a symbol of resilience, forgiveness, and the power of the human spirit. World leaders, activists, and ordinary citizens drew inspiration from his life and words. His birthday, July 18th, is celebrated as Nelson Mandela International Day, encouraging people to dedicate time to community service in his honor. A life well lived. Nelson Mandela passed away on December 5, 2013, at the age of 95. His death was mourned by millions around the world, but his legacy endures. Mandela's life is a testament to the power of courage, humility, and unwavering commitment to justice. He once said, "I have walked that long road to freedom. I have tried not to falter. I have made missteps along the way. But I have discovered the secret that after climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. I have taken a moment here to rest, to steal a view of the glorious vista that surrounds me, to look back on the distance I have come. But I can only rest for a moment, for with freedom comes responsibility, and I dare not linger, for my long walk is not ended." Mandela's long walk to freedom continues to inspire generations to strive for a more just, equitable, and compassionate world.